Folks know that I like to be optimistic when I talk about things. In my videos and my presentations, I try to emphasize the good things in the world, not focus on the bad. There's plenty of things to be upset about, plenty of reasons to be unhappy. However, I try not to dwell on that. So bear with me. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to make a negative prediction. I think we are going to see, pretty soon, a big crackdown on actual left-wing and socialist thought. It's only a matter of time. And I can tell you why this is coming. Take a look at what has been done to Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and what has been done to Jeremy Corbyn. That's the first thing you need to take a look at. Both of these people have criticized Israel. They have been opponents of the Israel lobby. They are both left-wing. One is a Democratic Socialist Congresswoman in the United States. The other is the leader of the Labour Party, one of the biggest political parties in the United Kingdom. Both of them are being accused of being Jew-hating anti-Semites and fascists, the equivalent of Adolf Hitler, because they've criticized Israel. And the campaign has been relentless, and it has not stopped. Take a look at this article written by Jonah Goldberg, who is the editor of National Review magazine. Right? Not a small, irrelevant figure. Now, Jonah Goldberg's article is called Karl Marx's Jew-Hating Conspiracy Theory. And in this article, which was widely circulated, he argues that any criticism of capitalism is by definition anti-Semitic, right? That if you criticize the capitalist system, if you call for a society where the major centers of economic power are organized to serve public good and not profits, you, by definition, according to Jonah Goldberg, are anti-Semitic, right? That rich is just a code word for Jew. Keep in mind that that's happening. Also keep in mind that right now there is a campaign on the internet to isolate and justify the exclusion and silencing of leftists who oppose U.S. foreign policy, right? There are efforts to declare that if you don't support the U.S. regime change operation against the Syrian government, well then you are not a leftist, you're a Nazbol, you're a Strasserit, you're a tanky, and you are actually a fascist pretending to be a leftist. That's going on all over the internet. Big efforts are being made to try and push out of left-wing circles anyone who actually defends really existing socialist governments and doesn't march in lockstep with U.S. foreign policy. Basically, the liberal left, the synthetic left, the left that favors cultural deconstruction and is not interested in economics and class struggle, is getting ready to launch a campaign against the actual left, against whatever is left of socialism and Marxism, and they're basically going to try and purge it from left circles in the name of anti-fascism, right? They have basically declared that everything that the Communist Party of the United States back in the 1930s stood for, everything that the Black Panthers stood for, this belief that the people should control the means of production, that the working class should unite, populism, they're basically on the verge of declaring all of that to be fascism. All it means to be a leftist, according to the prominent voices, is a leftist is one who favors more sensitivity and cultural deconstruction, maybe a higher tax rate on the 1%. But if you actually believe in socialism, if you defend socialist regimes around the world, like Venezuela, like the Ba'athist Arab socialist government in Syria, like China, then you are, according to them, a fascist. And your arguments are, by definition, anti-Semitic. And you deserve not only to be silenced and shut down, but basically to be beaten up and killed. That's what the Antifa folks believe, right? They believe that if you disagree with them about Syria or about Venezuela or about China or about transgender issues or about whatever it is, if you don't go along with the trend that the left has taken, and if you actually defend class struggle politics, populism, if you defend anti-imperialist governments around the world, you're the equivalent of Adolf Hitler and you deserve to be shut down. They are laying the foundations for a big crackdown on anyone who actually still believes in socialism, right? Leftism has become about deconstruction. It has become about arguing that there is no truth, right? And that ideology, right, and the belief that there is truth in the world, that right and wrong actually do exist, according to the forces and the voices that now dominate leftist discourse, if you think that, you're a Nazi and you deserve to be beaten up. And I feel like with the atmosphere of hysteria that has been created in the aftermath of Trump's election, in the aftermath of the horrendous events in Charlottesville, they are preparing for a big crackdown on all legitimate left-wing criticism. That the left, those who actually defend socialist and anti-imperialist governments, are being, they're facing a huge upcoming crackdown. They are going to declare any class struggle rhetoric to be anti-Semitism, to be fascism, and declare that it must be silenced. I urge people to get ready for what's coming. A crackdown on leftist thought is coming from the Western establishment that is far more afraid of that than they are of the new right.